everyone. Welcome to my shop. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be working on another project on the 1914 Chevrolet. I overlooked something on while we were assembling the rear axle. We were looking for defects in the axles that I had on the shelf. And we found two good axles that appeared to be what we needed. But then one of the fellows happened to notice, he says, that axle looks thinner than the other one. I said, it must be an optical illusion. No. Unfortunately, the axle was about 50 thousandths thinner. It's supposed to be 1 inch, 200, or let's see, 1 inch and a quarter, which would be 250. Yeah, 1 inch, 2 1/4. Let's try that again. 1.250 was the standard size that we needed, and for some reason, this particular axle, which looked fine from appearances, was a little thinner. So consequently, now we've had to take the whole rear end back off the car, take it completely apart to get the axle out. The axle's held in with a nut and a locking pin. The axle was just a little bit thinner, and so we had to take everything back apart. Unfortunately, that's the way it works. It's held together. Let me see. Let me get a screw axle. All right, here's the axle, and it's got this big nut in here, and then there's this locking pin that keeps the nut from unscrewing inadvertently, and that is all held into the middle of the rear end. So in order to get this axle out, you have to completely disassemble the whole back axle assembly. And we had that all together, which really kind of irks me that we had to do this over again. But so I found an axle that's the proper thickness, but it's about 1.5 inches, maybe almost 2 inches longer. I don't know where these things were supposed to go. They did make a model car which had the rear end was actually wider, about 2 inches wider, I guess it was, for certain parts of the country. The roads or the railroads had something to do with the railroads or the roads. And they made the back tracks actually were wider than the front track wheels. So, and I don't remember exactly what the reason for that was, but there was a reason. So, anyway, we've got this axle that's too long. It was the keyway was damaged from wear and abuse. So, I'm trying now to cut this taper on the old shaft. It's too long. We're going to cut it down and try and recover the keyway with the new material that we're going to be exposing it by shortening it. We're going to move the keyway in somewhat. So let's head over to the lathe next and start on that. What I'm making now, I've got a piece in the lathe, just a piece of steel that's that I'm getting the proper angle on here. It looks like it's 2 degrees 30 minutes is what we're coming up with on a number for the taper, and we're real close. I'm getting it real close, so I'm going to bring you in on the final stages here of getting this. And then once I have the taper set on the taper attachment on the lathe, and I'll show you that in a minute. Then we can go ahead and put the actual piece back in there, the actual axle, and do the machine work on the axle, because it has to be right. So, okay, let's head over there. Okay, now this is a piece that I've started the taper on, and this is the part we're trying to fit, and we're pretty close, but we still got wiggle. It's tight at the top, but we're loose at the bottom here. So we keep adjusting the taper to get this a little bit thinner here and leaving this where it is. So let me show you what the taper attachment looks like. I'm just going to pan the camera over there and take a look at this here. All right. Light out of the way. Most of you probably know what this is and how it works, but for those that don't have a lathe or are thinking about maybe getting one, why, a taper attachment is a nice option to have, but it's not critical to have. So let me show you how it works. This arm, or thing, I'm not sure what the terminology, the correct terminology for this this piece is right here, but we can adjust it back and forth. It pivots in the center, and it's attached to the cross feed. And so as the machine traverses along the bed of the ways, this controls the cross feed and at what rate it moves in or out away from the workpiece. It's held. This arm is actually locked onto the lathe with this arm over here. I don't know if I've got it in camera or not. Let's see, I'll move this over here. Here we go. When I lock this nut down, it clamps onto the bed of the ways, and this arm is then held still, which is connected to this arm, or this piece. And everything is supported by the carriage. So as the carriage moves forward, this arm slides on this piece, causing the cross feed to move at a steady rate or an angle to create the taper. So that's how the taper attachment works. To get the precise, we can get real close. There's a little veneer on each end that shows like a measuring tape ruler that shows you how much you're moving. But when you get down to a half of a degree or minutes of a degree, and there's 60 minutes in 1 degree, so a half of a degree would be 30 minutes, and that's about where we're at, which is, you really can't hardly see it, the thing move. So what I've been doing is I've been putting a dial indicator on the edge of this path, or this, I don't know what to call that. I'll have to look that up. And I'm measuring with a dial indicator how much movement I'm getting on here to come up with the the number on the, because we measured it pretty closely with an old one, and we came up with a 2.5 degrees, which is, it's somewhere in the 30 minutes, 25 minutes, 27 minutes, something like that, but it's not exactly what we think. So the next step here is to put the dial indicator on here and make an adjustment, and then we're going to take a cut and then try to fit it. So lock that on, and then let's bring this over. So there's our dial indicator, and we're just right on the 0 there. Right now we're okay at this end. We're slipping on all the way at this end, but we're bottoming out at the fat end. So I want to take a little more off the fat end without taking any off the skinny end. So in order to do that, we have to move the arm away from us here. So I have to go over there. This one, and this one. Now this can turn, and this arm, this thing here will move. So looks like we might have bumped it or something here. So we're going to go this way. There's 5 thousandths. I mean, we're really talking nothing here. I'll tighten these up now. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to take a cut. I'll take this away. Okay, let's get it going. Now I'm watching, we haven't touched yet. There we are, right there. Just start touching off. So we're starting to take this down. We've left the end open. So this should get us on the move here. Now, one of the issues is backlash, and in order to get no backlash, in other words, backlash is all the looseness of the machine, and until you get all the backlash pulled out or compressed, whatever you want to call it, this doesn't start to cut a proper taper until all the backlash is removed. And so I have to pull the carriage back about this far, about 4 or 5 inches, and it takes about that much time or that much length for all the backlash to be eliminated. So what we did was we touched off right about here. I want to put the hub on here and see how the fit has improved, but we didn't start cutting right at the edge. We started cutting about 1 inch in, which is not ideal, but I want to get this out here, the fat end, closer before I try and take a full cut from the very edge here all the way to this end here. So I've got a straight taper the whole way. But getting that backlash out was a problem. In the beginning, I I knew I had a problem with the backlash. I didn't realize how much I had as far as backlash. So to get a nice, smooth, straight cut, because what was happening, you put a straight edge on here after you take a cut, and you'd have like an indent here. It was weird. It was just like cupping right in this area here, and then once all the backlash came out, then you started getting a true cut. So, and I had this on the tailstock, and we had the full things. We had the full shaft between centers, but I couldn't get a nice smooth taper with this attachment on here unless I got way back. So I'd have to take the tailstock away, run the carriage back far enough that when it did get back to this starting point, there was no more backlash. So anyhow, that's kind of a backstory to the machine. It's a, what do you call that? It's a nature of the beast. So now we're going to put this on here. I've still got clearance. I haven't gotten to the, I'm not in the chuck now, but okay. But we are all the way through, coming through on this end, which is okay. I mean, we're not going to use this piece. It's just a test piece. I'm trying to get the proper angle. So that's the whole gist of it here. But you can see we've still got a little bit to go. And if I cut off the end right here, it's already too small. So we're hitting up here, which is okay. But this has got to go more. We've got to take a little more off to get her done. So we'll do this repeat, rinse and repeat, and do it again. And I've kind of brought you in, I didn't bring you in at the very beginning. I'm sorry about that, but there's a mark right there. I just wonder. It's just crud on there. And another thing, this hub is, it's not solid all the way through. There's a cavity halfway through here. I can show my light on it. See if you can see what I'm showing you here. Yeah, there's a cavity down in there that. So we're only hitting on the back and at the very front. So. I'm going to take off camera. I'm going to go off camera now. And I'm going to get a little emery cloth and just go inside of here and clean this up. And then I'll come back and we'll try the fit again. Okay? Now, what I want to do now, I took this over to the other bench and I got a little sanding wheel and I just cleaned up the paint off of the inside and any crud that might have been there, any hangnails that might have been hanging on. So what I want to do next is I want to blue this. And I got a marker here. And we're going to just give a little bluing here. And we'll see. Let's see where this... Let's see where it's rubbing and where we're not. So. Yeah, we're still loose on the. See if I can tap it off here. There she comes. Okay. So we're touching right there. And on here I can see where it came. It's right inside there, just touching in there. So we're getting there. Didn't touch on this end at all. So we got nothing showing down here, but we got a couple little spots here we're touching, so we're getting close. We're going to take off a little bit more. We'll put our meter back on here. Okay. Oh, come here, you. There we go. Get this up here. Slide that in right about there. Lock it there. I'll set that on 0 again. These loose. And 0. Come on, there we go. Okay, now we're on 0 there. And we want to move this away. This really won't matter because once we get the fit on here, if this was the actual part, this end would have a thread on it anyway, so this gets machined down anyhow, so it's not a major deal. And then this has quite a bit of a setback here, so what we got here. All right, 3/4 of an inch setback in this part here. So you seeing this, guys? I hope we had the camera set right. Hope this one was okay. Anyhow, so here. Quite a bit of wiggle. Let's see. Another 5,000. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. What's that? Okay, let's set that. 0. And loosen. Loosen the taper. Huh. Well, it moved, didn't it, huh? Already moved to 5 thousandths there. We'll go 7 there. See what that does. Didn't move that time. Okay. That's 7 thousandths. Chair. Darn tripod legs in the way. Okay, so you guys got a front row seat. Now, let's get this back up here. See what's going on. Let's see. There we go. Okay, here we go. I haven't touched the cross feed, so we're just going to go up and see what it does. Well, I wish I had a reamer for this size. Hitting in the same spot. Again. Let's wipe it off and see what... said it already. I'll repeat myself, but I think what I want to do now, because I'm seeing, what am I seeing? Maybe that's just an optical. Oh yeah, right here. We're rubbing right here, but we're not rubbing over on this side. So I think what I want to do is not change my taper, leave the taper where it is. I think we're real close here. There's just a little burble.
Scratching here. Where that might be around the edge. It looks like it might be around the edge.
Oh yeah, I guess that's where it is. It looks like it's just scratching it, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see here. But we'll get the light just right. Right where the keyway, I can see the line, so it's right on the edge of the, right at the edge of this part. There's something here that's scratching. Yeah, it looks like there's some hammer marks on here from previous dismantlings. So it's rubbing good there, but we got pretty good there. So what I want to do is just, I'm not going to change the taper. I think we've finally got enough off of here that we're touching here and here at the same time. I think I'm just going to take like 1 or 2 thousandths off the whole thing and see. We'll start out here and just pick up, because we weren't touching here at all the last several passes. So if I go in a couple thou, that should do it. So there's 1, there's 2. Okay, we're all the way back. So let's take one more pass, and I think we're going to call it good. Oh, that's smooth now. Woo-wee. That's very smooth. Very nice finish. Yeah. Very good. Okay, let me we'll blue it here again. Okay, it's dry. Okay, we see our line there, good.